Hello and welcome to the Art of Artisan. Today we're going to be playing an aggressive go wide deck built around cards with hero in their name. In the original Theros, there was a mechanic called Heroic that did something whenever a creature was targeted, and as a little call out to that, Wizards of the Coast made it so that hero cards, whenever there were a bunch of cards that said hero in their name, and whenever you cast a spell that targets them, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So Hero of the Pride and Hero of the Nyxborn, we've got 8 of these creatures that when they're targeted, pump our entire team temporarily. We've also got Heroic Reinforcements, which pumps our team and gives us 2/1/1 soldiers and gives our team haste. So this is usually a finisher when we play it. And lastly, we've got Shefet Dunes, which is a land which we can sacrifice to pump up our team. So all of this is going to be pumping up our team by 1. There's one thing that's hard about these heroic cards, and that's that we need both creatures to go wide, and we need spells that target them. The solution to this are these cards. Cartouche of Solidarity creates a token when it comes into play. Same thing with Nurturing Presence. Rimrock Knight is both a targeting spell and a creature. Born to Drive can be 2 creatures or it can be a targeting spell, because auras do count as targeting the creature with a spell. So we've got all these effects to trigger our heroes, and then we've got Hazda Marshal helping us go wide, Selfless Savior to protect our creatures when we target them with auras. We don't want to get blown out and get a 2-for-1. Usher of the Fallen helps us to go wide against control without committing to our board, and Raise the Alarm, one of the best token cards that's been made. And that is hero tokens. Very simple, straightforward deck. We're going to be trying to smash our opponent's faces and ignore everything else. And let's get to the games and see if that works out. Game 1, playing hero tokens. Playing against Lutahute Dash. Wow. I think is that Korean? I don't think it's Japanese or Chinese, and it looks Asian. This hand is good if we get white mana, because Heroic Reinforcements, one of our best cards, but I think when we're on the play, we have to mulligan it and go for something slightly better, or at least more consistent, which this is. I think out of all of these, we have to dump the card. Actually, I think we dump Nurturing Presence. Little bit worried only having 2 threats, but we should be able to get in some damage. We don't really have an end game plan besides Born to Drive, but that's not really going to work with our current board state. That's good though. Selfless Savior. Cartouche of Solidarity. And swing in for 3. Yeah, Cartouche of Solidarity is a pretty good card in an aggro deck just because it adds 2 power to the battlefield. Alright. Opponent passes. They're playing Simic and they're holding up mana for some reason. Alright. I think. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, if we play out Hero of the Pride, then we have lethal next turn, assuming our opponent does nothing. I was thinking about just playing around a sweeper or something well, I guess they probably won't have a sweeper, but playing around mono blue shenanigans by just using the Usher of the Fallen ability instead of playing out Hero of the Pride. But Simic doesn't really have sweepers now that I think about it. Our biggest fear is probably life gain, but we can deal a ton of damage this next turn. Let me redo the math on that. 4, 6, 8, 11, plus, yeah, we've got lethal. 15 damage at a minimum, assuming our opponent does nothing once again. Wow. Well, that looks like an opponent who's trying to ramp and could not ramp fast enough. Well, On to game number two. Game number two with heroic tokens versus the based Troll Rock. In our opening hand, a little bit awkward without one of our heroes, but I think we keep it on the draw. We're just gonna take things a little bit slowly, I think, and lead with the tap land. Actually, we're gonna try and run everything out. We're gonna try and be fast this game. Our opponent's playing mono red, so I think this is gonna turn out to be a race, where our opponent keeps swinging in thinking that they're ahead until we heroic reinforcements and sneak in the win. Is this a play with fire? Play with fire. Okay. Hero of the Pride. Let's go. That's good. It's not super good actually yet, where we don't have enough creatures to really make targeting it that worth it. But putting something like a Born to Drive on it, just get it big enough that it's outside of burn range and can stonewall our opponent eventually, should be pretty good. Okay, no blocks. Opponent is almost empty-handed already. We draw a land. We will gain a life. Opponent has nothing, it would appear, at least. We pump this up to a 4-3, and we swing in. A little bit risky to be swinging in when our opponent is definitely ahead in some ways, but we've really got to race them. We got to get this heroic reinforcements to be lethal. An opponent is all out swinging, and we take it. I mean, they don't actually have that fast of a clock, considering they've only got one card in hand. Like, I'm not as scared as I could be, to say the least. We will play that out, and then we'll swing in. If our opponent blocks the Hero of the Pride, we target it with Rimrock Knight. Opponent does not. So we're going to play Usher of the Fallen. And then we are actually just going to use Born to Drive to give us 2 tokens. Alright, yeah. We did miss out on 1 point of damage there by playing Usher of the Fallen later. But if I did use Rimrock Knight, I'd still want to use Born to Drive. So it would have been a little bit awkward to just play like Rimrock Knight and then Usher of the Fallen and not get the Born to Drive tokens. Although I guess I would have gotten Rimrock Knight. Anyways, we'll just take it. Take all the damage. Hope our opponent doesn't just like skewer the critics and win. Because skewer does win right here. Uh-oh. Any spell wins, pretty much. Play with fire. No thing. Yes. Okay. Do we have lethal? That's the big question. And I think we do. Okay, we discard this. Make 2 1/1 tokens. Pumps up Hero of the Pride, whatever. Then we get a land. Oh, the land seals the deal. Because now we can do this. Swing in. And pump up the entire team with Rimrock Knight. Targeting Hero of the Pride. Your go, opponent. What do you do? Good game. And that's lethal. Wow. We got a bit lucky with our opponent whiffing on the light up the stage, but Hero of the Pride. That really showed off the heroic part of our deck. Let's go to game 3. Game number 3. Playing against CDB24 C2C. Pretty good name. This hand's actually pretty good. We usually only need 1 hero, but if our opponent has removal, then we have a backup. We've got tokens, we've got something to target the hero. Wow, my voice is going weird. Ahem. Yeah, I've got a thing where I get phlegmy from time to time. TMI, I know, but whatever. We're a little bit of a slow start without getting the heroes down like immediately, but I'm playing against mono red again. So we saw how this went last time. We're just going to try and race them. And we probably win. Like, red has a lot of reach with their burn spells, but ooh, that's good. But we have a lot more explosive turns when we get heroic reinforcements or are targeting Hero of the Pride a bunch. Play with fire, remove our creature. Burning Tree. That's going to be a 3/3. That's a really good card. I need to build some decks with Burning Tree Emissary. It is Artisan legal. And just Bone Crusher our face. Fair enough. Oh, perfect. I was hoping we'd have something else to play with this hero. Although actually, now that I think about it, I might just want to raise the alarm this turn. No, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to, actually, yeah, I'm going to raise the alarm. Pass turn to the opponent. And then next turn, I can do heroic reinforcements and just swing in for a bunch. And then I can play Hero of the Pride and immediately target it with Rimrock Knight and hope that finishes the job. Okay, Bone Crusher Giant. That actually is a serious issue. I like these two toughness creatures because I can actually block them. Not block them, but trade with them. But when they start getting in with these bigger ones. Oh, Rimrock Knight of our opponent's own. We are facing down pretty close to lethal, assuming our opponent has burn spells. So we may not actually be able to get in this turn. What we can do, however, we can play Hero of the Nyxborn. And then, okay, really close here. So we just need to barely survive. Targeting Hero of the Nyxborn with Rimrock Knight, we can block Bone Crusher and kill Etchings with some chump blocker. We can also just go after the Bone Crusher. Okay, yeah. Yes, this is going to work well. So we'll pass the turn like this. And then we can block Burning Tree with Selfless Savior. Chandra Dress to kill. That doesn't do anything to us. I mean, it deals damage, but we're fairly safe here. We're going to get to not wipe our opponent's board, but we're going to kill two of their creatures and not let any damage in. And that seems like a pretty good deal to me. Yeah, they all outswing. Okay. Time for a blowout. So this blocks this blocks this, and this blocks this. 3 blockers. Then Selfless Savior protects Hero of the Nyxborn, and Rimrock Knight pumps Hero of the Nyxborn, which also pumps our token, which kills Etching of Kumano. And that leaves our opponent with no blockers to protect Chandra. Okay. We could just continue to go wide. Our opponent only has 1 card in hand, but they do have Dens of the Bugbear. We could heroic reinforcements and just swing in a little bit to hit Chandra, but that seems like such a waste. I think we just Hero of the Pride into Rimrock Knight. And we'll see what happens from here. I mean, we can take 3 from... Yeah, we gotta kill Chandra. Rimrock Knight can't block. But we can block their Rimrock Knight with our Hero of the Pride and take the 3. Or we can block a Den of the Bugbear and take a lot. Ooh, Robber of the Rich. That's a good draw for our opponent. Okay, what else do we have? Our opponent's not firing up Den of the Bugbear this turn. They are going to play that. We can get in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 damage if we didn't block in heroic reinforcements. So we're not actually even threatening lethal or anything. So we gotta block the Rimrock Knight and call that good. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Opponent gets to play the Hazda Marshal or an axe. They get to play an axe. And now we're pretty much dead. We can swing in with Rimrock Knight because it's not going to be doing anything. An axe is brutal here. Because that means that we are. I mean, we have a bunch of 1/1s, so we can't trade with our opponent very effectively at all. Opponent fires up Den of the Bugbear. And we're facing a less burn-based aggro deck in red. And these 3 toughness creatures are actually what's really stopping us here. Opponent gets lots of triggers. And we get to block, 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 and then we're down to 1. Don't think that's worth it. I think we've got to just mass block and lose our board. And we're pretty dead here. Yeah, our opponent has just too much and we cannot respond. Ooh. Okay. We can build 4 tokens. That can help us to block our opponent out of this. And then heroic reinforcements maybe does something. Okay, we'll see. Next to combat. Fire in with the Rimrock Knight. What do you say, opponent? They take it. Pass to their turn. If they have a land, they can fire up Den of the Bugbear, and then we have to block with everything. But they do not. Okay. Well, we will fire off 2 Raise the Alarms. 1, 2. That leaves us with good game. What's the good game for? Play with fire. Okay. Opponent had it in hand. Well, that was a little bit rough. I don't know quite where we fell behind. I feel like there was just a little bit of awkwardness with not having enough mana, where we had like a lot of 5 mana stuff we wanted to do with like Hero of the Nyxborn and to raise the alarm and stuff. Good game opponent. They played well. On to game number 4. Game number 4. Coming in against Quoro 1981. And we have a good opening hand. I'll call this one good. Yeah, we go first. We're gonna lead off with a tap land. In fact, we're probably gonna lead off with 2 tap lands. Opponent playing Snow Black. And Shambling Ghast is a little bit awkward. It's gonna remove our Usher of the Fallen eventually, but we will accept that. We'd rather them use it now than later, I guess. Oh, they're zombies. Our opponent's playing zombies. Okay, we take it. We're all the way down to 20 life. We'll cast our Hero of the Nyxborn here. Get ourselves set up. We drew the heroic reinforcements. We are now, I think, all 4 games. No, we didn't the first game. But we have drawn heroic reinforcements 3 out of our 4 games, which is really lucky, honestly. We're going to have to just take that and really hope that we have the racing power here. So we can Selfless Savior and Hero of the Pride. Get our go wide going on. And then we attack with our 2 creatures here. And we hope we draw a land. A land is so much damage this next turn. And pass to the opponent. Although if we don't draw a land, we can just target like Hero of the Pride with Born to Drive. and that should be pretty effective on its own. Late Stitch Scob. That is a death-touching creature that also pumps the team. Swinging in. Okay, if we draw a land, we have for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and they can only block 3 of it. We're taking it. We are taking all 12 of this. Oh, this is so risky, but land off the top wins us the game. Land off the top. Heroic Reinforcements. This card is not busted, I promise. You know, just a surprise extra 9 damage on our side of the battlefield. And we're not even going to protect it because we've already won. And that is a winning record. Let's get to game 5. See if we can improve it even more. Game 5. Playing against a Mime Machine. And the deck is doing well. I'm happy with how it's been so far. This hand is actually kind of cool. Hero of the Nyxborn. I'm trying to decide if I should save my enchantments for when I can get Hero of the Nyxborn down. And that will kind of depend on if I draw anything to play next turn. Like, Hero of the Pride is probably one of our best draws here. Opponent, they're killing themselves for us. Thank you very much. Rimrock Knight. Yeah, I think our opponent has a 1 power blocker. What we're gonna do here, they can embalm it. We could swing in and just make a 1/1 token, but that seems kind of weak here. So we'll just pass. We'll get down our Hero of the Nyxborn. Then we can start targeting it with stuff, and that should help us quite a bit, especially if our opponent like swings in with the Sacred Cat. They may just keep it back as a blocker. Yeah, this having little blockers or 3 power blocker, 3 toughness blockers is both kind of rough. Okay, Sacred Cat. We want our opponent to have lots of 2 power, 2 toughness creatures. That's like the optimal thing for us to be facing. Okay, more lands. We're just going to play out our Hero of the Nyxborn and pass the turn. Our opponent's on Esper colors. They're playing a fairly like tier mana base, but they've got Sacred Cats in their deck. I'm trying to think of what they could be doing. Security bypass, okay. I have no idea what they're doing. They're conniving with their Sacred Cat. They want stuff in their graveyard. Could this be God Pharaoh's Gift? God Pharaoh's Gift seems like a... Oh my goodness, yeah, so they're running the full play set of cats, I'm almost certain. Okay. So we will Nurturing Presence, the Hero of the Nyxborn. That will give us a spirit token, pump him up. Then we will swing in. We'll have to trade with the cat, a little bit disappointing. Trade with the cat. Also, our opponent has not been hitting land drops. We will activate this ability, pump up the Hero of the Nyxborn. And our opponent's going to have to waste mana bringing back cats if they really want the cats to block with. But we're going to be hitting for a fair amount of damage this turn if our opponent doesn't bring them back. Knives, digging for a land. Do they hit the land? No, they're hitting more disturb stuff. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. It's very interesting to me, though. Do we have lethal if our opponent doesn't develop their board at all? We can Cartouche and Rimrock Knight on Hero of Nyxborn. That might actually be enough. No, well, not with the blockers. Blockers that connive. Okay. Do we just go for it anyways, though, just to pressure the opponent's life total? I think we do. I think we can get their life total low enough that it's an issue for them. Target hero of the Nyxborn. Create a creature. Swing all out. Opponent probably has to block, considering this is 12 damage. What do they block, though? They block that. We Rimrock Knight, targeting hero of the Nyxborn. That's a lot more damage. I mean, that's if it wasn't for the fact that our opponent's gaining 1 life here, we'd have them. Okay, now it's just down to, does our opponent have a sweeper? Probably shouldn't have played that out, but oh my goodness, if I played it out, then our opponent wouldn't have gained the 1 life. They would have had to block the hero of the Nyxborn. Well, but then they would have known the pump was coming, so they... Yeah, I think I played that right. Opponent, trying to decide what to do. They only have a little bit of lifelink available to them still. They can swing in with the Sacred Cat to get some life. Although if they... Yeah. I'm trying to think of what they can do here. Backside of this just makes a 4/4 Spirit. That's not going to deal enough damage to us to cause a problem. Okay. Exiling our creature. We'll take that. Lose all of our enchantments. And I think we win. Unless they have something else to play this turn, we win. Because an all-out swing, they block the Rimrock Knight. They gain 3 life, and then they take 4. That is game. Fire away. Does the opponent have anything? Okay. And we win! That is the 4-1. All right, the deck did awesome. Okay, and the heroic plan was surprisingly effective. Let's get to the deck wrap up and talk about it. 4-1 with a generic token aggro deck with a small plan to make it less generic of the hero cards. And this idea came from watching a Pauper tournament. I saw Hero of the Pride and Cartouche of Solidarity and Nurturing Presence, and it was really surprisingly powerful. And I was thinking of how strong Heroic Reinforcements was, and so putting together the deck, it kind of built itself, and it impressed me. That was really solid. We didn't get to see Chef at Dunes. I'd probably actually be running this as a 4 of if I wasn't saving up my wild cards for the next time that I'm going to be doing one of these videos. But I recommend this deck. If you want to just get your daily wins in and you like Explorer format, this deck seems to perform really well. In the sideboard, Valorous Stance, like we'd want some removal in the sideboard. So what we saw during these games is we were able to race any other deck except maybe Mono Red. Although against Mono Red, it just felt a little bit awkward. I don't know why, but the whole match felt a little awkward. And so maybe that's a deck building error, but generally I felt like not having removal in our deck worked perfectly fine. We just would go wide of whatever our opponent was doing, and then pumping up the entire team, we could get in for lethal from surprisingly high life totals. Like our opponent's at 18 and it's, oh, we've got lethal. But the deck, very solid in that regard, but sometimes we'd want removal. Lava Coils, Valorous Stances. Valorous Stance also good if our opponent's trying to sweep the board with destruction-based spells. Other removal would be Seal Away. And if our opponent's building like a couple of really big creatures, Claim the Firstborn can be pseudo removal on our finishing off the game turn. Also, funnily, Claim the Firstborn we can use to target our own hero of the Nyxborn or Hero of the Pride just to pump up our team or give it haste. Vryn Wingmare. This card's a little bit of a non-bow with our hero plan with some of our enchantments, although we can still channel Born to Drive for cheap. But this card is a very solid answer if we know our opponent's playing lots of sweepers. And then lastly, in decks where we need to race our opponent, you see a pair of goblins can be just a solid pump spell for the whole team. So that is Hero Tokens. It's a surprisingly good deck. I recommend you take it out there. If you have any comments for what I should do to improve the deck, any cards you think I missed, please comment below. As well, if you want to choose a deck for me to play next week, if you have a cool suggestion, I may already have a lot of the cards for it, and please let me know as well in the comments. Until then, keep on enjoying Budget Magic.